Hello, and welcome to another Culture Foolishness podcast. This is episode three. Um, this is also brought to you by architectsofmars.com, curated by the curious. Get your original Architects of Mars gear at architectsofmars.com. I am your host, Creed of Exodus Studios and the aforementioned Architects of Mars, and my co-host is
Coach Tamara Simone, your favorite life coach's favorite life coach. If you don't know, now you know.
baby. So
It's Tupac's birthday.
that's true. Happy birthday, Tupac. Happy
Yes.
birthday. And
There you
some
go.
of my friends have some friends'
Yes.
birthday today. Shout out to my girl Jay of Zen Wellness. Can go check them out at zenwellness.com, get you some beauty and wellness products. Today's episode is it's called Keep That Same Energy. And when we say that, it is basically pertaining to the way men and women seem like we can only express ourselves certain way before the other is saying the other is too masculine and too feminine, being sassy or whatever. And most of the time, people just being human beings and living their life. So, we just want to delve into why that happens, especially in the Black community versus like other cultures, communities. It seems like it's a problem in ours in a different way.
And what's interesting is that in a time in which it's very highly encouraged for people to just be unapologetically who they are, then as soon as people display something that for others may be a trigger for whatever reason, then they automatically get labeled inaccurately. So it almost breeds the question of like, are we really letting people live?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, people always judging other people, and that's one of the main things our friend JC, or not even just in the Bible, it's like so many different instances of like, how are you judging others? You're not God and you're not without sin. So you got to kind of let people do what they're going to do at the end of the day. But we all guilty of it. I'm not going to sit up here and
Oh,
say,
I'm nobody's hypocrite.
right.
I'll be like, I need to just be a better overall person. Then look and be like, now what is this fool doing? So
Yeah.
it,
It's, we got to work on ourselves. It's works in progress here. We're human.
yes, for sure, for
But
sure.
I just feel like it's just getting, especially I think for men, it's becoming particularly
Yeah,
odd.
let's
Like,
elaborate. Like, let's really get into it.
yeah, so I feel like with men it's becoming like whatever we do is deemed sassy or I think a lot of times when a man has boundaries that maybe the average dusty dude don't really care about themselves or have boundaries, when that man has boundaries, then that's when all of the sassies and what is the other
Zesty,
zesties get
moist.
right, which obviously is being derogatory towards them possibly being gay, which nothing wrong with that. Number one, number two, um, I think it's just disrespectful on a lot of levels for somebody to like comfort somebody that is really just being normal. Like that's what it is. It's like the same thing that a woman would do that's like normal behavior, but not even like gender normal, just a normal thing. A man could do the same thing and then they're called zesty for or sassy for the same thing.
Or you have a lot of instances where And I mean, we know it goes both ways, but in this particular moment, we're talking about what we're talking about. There's instances in which women are telling men what real men do.
Mm.
And I don't subscribe to that. And then also, again, there's always the, well, men do it too. Okay. That doesn't make, like, so keep that same energy. If you don't want men telling women how women should be moving or acting or whatever the case may be, then don't walk around saying this is what a real man does.
Well, I mean, like you said, it does go both ways though, because men
No, I
tend,
agree. I
yeah.
agree. It
Hmm.
goes both ways, but like right now in this very second that we're
Hmm.
speaking on it, we're talking about men and we're
Right.
talking about how unfortunately there's women who are saying real men do this, real men don't do this. Just
Yeah.
like, and again, we know it goes both ways, but in this very second, that's not what we're talking
Well,
about. We're talking about how women be out here saying real men don't order dessert at restaurants.
yeah, stuff that's like getting to be like it's getting to be ridiculous. Now that, yes, and that's really what I'm talking about is when it has become like every single thing a man can do. Like perfect example, this gentleman paid money to do one of the Chris Brown
Oh yeah.
meet and greet pictures or whatever. And I don't know why your lighting keep going in and out. That's weird.
Maybe that's just me.
So I'm not a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but they were, and apparently they did a pose that was from that cartoon. I'll go to the comments. It's so many women saying all type of stuff about them just for like it's almost as if men can't be happy. It's like even just showing true childlike happiness bothered women in the comments. I was like, what is going on? Now,
And
obviously,
so
it was a lot that defended, but it was a woman that was pressed because they were like literally having fun as if they were 10-year-olds.
Well, so I'm glad that you brought that up because I've seen on the other end a lot of men saying, like, oh, these women want, they want dudes to come in and pay all their bills, but yet they take their money and use it to take obscene pictures with Chris Brown on this tour. And they shouldn't be doing this and blah, 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 blah. And then when women are defending it, then they're saying, like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime experience and blah 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 and whatever. But then when a man does it, then it's like, oh no, he's X, Y, and Z. So it's like, why can't he want that same once in a lifetime experience?
I mean, he's
Why
a
is
Chris
why
Brown fan, but
right?
he clearly and
Why can't he spend his money to do? Why can you spend your money to do that, but this person cannot?
because I mean, I think about it like this. Chris Brown is the type of artist that I mean, a straight man could like him enough to want to spend that money. Because I look at if a Michael Jackson or a Prince or whoever was doing that shit back in the day, it would have been plenty of straight men that would have paid that money to take pictures. They might it would have been pictures like that too, like where it's not weird. It was just on some guy stuff. Like that dude was probably I pretty sure
Don't
he
know.
was,
Yeah.
don't know. But for me, the just from the energy of wanting to do that, 9 times out of 10, he was like a straight dude, that just wanted to take a picture of Chris Brown. And then they both like that Dragon Ball Z thing. So you could send a picture. Chris Brown was cheesing bigger than he was with all them girls trying to take the big booty pictures all over him. He was
Yeah, he's
smiling
used to
way
that.
harder. Exactly. He was like, man, he doing Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, like he was all geeked. So, it's crazy. So it's so many things. Like I remember the lists that would come out, and it would be like these super long lists, and I would have heard all of these things. So people was compiling all the things they heard, and it was just like 100 things that if we do them, we sassy now. And one
And
thing I will
again, like,
say, hold on real quick.
yeah.
And one thing I will say, because obviously it goes both ways, right, Bojan? the list of things that men say, quote unquote, makes a woman feminine versus masculine, whatever thing, our shit be like this. If anything, it really do. And when you can't even say that I'm lying, we say the same shit, and it be a list this short. Women's list is literally like this. Like it's
So
absurd.
so I get that and I agree, but does it does that matter? Because neither one of us should be doing that, regardless
No,
of
absolutely
the
not.
capacity of which is being done.
But it's more so. I'm saying it in a sense of if the list is this short, it's only so many opportunities for you to fuck up 4, 5, 6 things on a list versus a list that got 87 things on it. You fucking up just walking in a room breathing, which
But
I think one of
technically,
the things on the list was man breathing. Like,
but who died and made these lists
no,
law?
what this first of all, I'm just making fun of it in
No, I
terms of,
agree. But like, if we're trying to insinuate that, oh, well, since this list is shorter, then it's easier to attain, this list don't matter because who
of
died and made
course,
the person that made
of
the list like
course.
someone. So I'm saying, like, yes, you're right. But at the same token, there shouldn't be a list at all.
Oh,
So even
absolutely
if there were
not.
three things on the list of what makes a woman whatever, and 27 things on the opposite list, is
Mhm.
still no. It's
Right.
not like, well, since the men's list is shorter, then it's law. Like, no, no one
And
made that.
it's not.
Some unemployed person on the internet made this list, or
Mhm.
somebody who does unarmed security. I know because I did it before, and you have a lot of time on your hands more often than not. They the ones who sat around like, hey, I know what I'm gonna do to to kill time. And they did this, and now people are sitting around judging men for eating popsicles or eating bananas. God forbid the nigga low on potassium. Can't even eat a banana messing with y'all. And
They gotta break it up into pieces and like shake it up like some dice. Then he could eat it.
who got time for that? Like, who got time? Like,
You know I ain't doing none of that shit. I do not care. I have
but
never cared, but it's
but
weird to me.
so all of the, again, like, I think we spoke on um why it's more allowable for a man, I mean, for a woman to be vulnerable and to be more authentic or more in touch with that side versus that of a man. And we know that, you know for the longest, then it's just been this unspoken or very outspoken condition of, like, men are, they're protectors, they're providers, they have up this shield of armor, if you will. They're not allowed to be vulnerable, and they're not allowed to be this and that. And you can't believe in that, but then also walk around talk about toxic masculinity, because
What do
it
you think creates toxic masculinity is holding
telling men
everything
what they
in, not
right
right.
telling men that they have to be that in order to be a man. And then when they
Hmm.
do that, they're not doing it in a way in which it benefits you in the moment. Because when it
Hmm.
benefits you, you're fine with it. But when it doesn't, then it's a problem. And, oh, you need to be more open, and you need to be more this, and you need to be more that. But then I've also seen those same women who want that, maybe they criticize or they make fun of a man who is vulnerable, or who
Hmm.
expresses emotion on a deeper level, if they're
Hmm.
doing so in a way that they don't deem is masculine. So it's like, you're being unrealistic by saying, I want a man to do this when I want him to do it, but I don't want him to do it in this way. I want him to do it the
Hmm.
way I want. Like, it don't work like that.
No. And I think that's a big issue when it comes to the average man even wanting to open up, is because in the times that they feel that they have, it becomes weaponized on later on. So that's a whole nother conversation, but that's really the root of what creates those miscommunications in terms of person not wanting to talk about things and blah 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 blah. I think both sides do the whole silent treatment, not voicing what the actual issue is type shit. So we all got to get better in that regard. But as far as just like you were saying, like it is more acceptable for women, even in friendship roles, like all these different layers of y'all life, y'all get to have that openness versus men. It's like hard to get spaces where we can have that openness, even with each other. It's only like, I think the average dude, if they got four friends, one of them is maybe a friend that they have like more open, deeper conversation with, and that's maybe pushing it. They might not have none. They might always keep it at a surface level type thing, just depending on the guy.
Mhm.
So it's interesting. It's very interesting. What do you think?
I mean, obviously I'm not a guy. So I can't really speak to that part of it, but like for me and it's because I'm glad you did ask me because while I am very much so a female, always have been, then I have moments where there's a certain level of vulnerability that I'm just not willing to show people.
Mm,
Like all I don't have a ton of new friends. I have the vast majority of my friends have been around 10, 15, now going on 20 plus years. So all of them have seen me cry. Ask them when's the last time they've seen me cry. Hell, my husband's only seen me cry like once or twice. It's not something that I do in front of people.
mm,
Um, Even though I'm a woman and I know I'm allowed to be that vulnerable and be in that space and all of the things, but a lot of times, more often than not, I'm also the strong person.
mm.
And who does it like everybody goes to the strong person, but who does the strong person go to?
Right, right.
So a lot of times when I have those instances where I'm vulnerable or needing to unleash or whatever like that, I just kind of do it in solitude.
Mm,
And I've done it in front of my friends, but it's not something I make a habit of.
yeah, no, I could see that. Now, on the flip side, and she known me my whole life, so she could, attest to this. I could cry at a sad commercial if I'm very, um, you know, I guess, how can I say this? It's like the real life things don't make me cry, but like content, like movies, certain things, like I will like Forrest Gump at the end talking to Jenny every time.
Really?
Yes, and I
Okay.
know it's coming, so I'll be like, he about to do the thing, and I'm gonna watch it, and I've seen it already, so I'm gonna be cool. Yep. He'd be like, he's so smart. Every time.
I never really knew that you did that because I mean, I've never, and Forrest Gump is one of my
Hmm.
top five favorites, and it's not number five.
Right.
But I've never cried on Forrest Gump, but
Hmm.
the episode of Fresh Prince with the pops
That
every
one, that one is tough. That one is tough. Like,
every time,
and I know that one is
no
bad. I
matter
know
how
it's
much
coming.
therapy I do, every damn time.
Yeah,
Will
that one
did
is,
that.
he
Shouts
really
out to
did.
Will.
Him and Uncle Phil. That
I
was a
know.
very great
First
scene.
things first, rest in peace, Uncle.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yes. So yeah, I get that. There's things like that will definitely pull at my heartstrings. But like life happening, it I mean, yes, like it get real
Yeah, certain
sometimes. So it
times.
but that's not the things that like just make me burst out uncontrollably
Mm-mm.
in front of people without like that's like life happening is like I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna pull it together. Okay, I don't feel all right. Let me go to the closet real quick. Like, let me go to the bathroom real quick. Just kind of get this out. You know?
I don't know why that reminded me. And I know you didn't watch the show, but Mad Men, it was set in like the 60s, and like apparently that's what women did to like cope with dealing with these dickhead ass men. They'd say some crazy ass shit to them and they'd like take it and then be in the bathroom crying. It'd be like three or four of them in there at the same time, handing each other tissue and shit, and like, all right, girl, we gotta go back out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
you
I
know.
get it.
Something else I wanted to talk to when we talk about keeping that same energy, just because it's something that's recent that has happened in culture.
Hmm.
Um, Michael Rainey Jr., also known as Tariq from Power, tune
Yeah,
in to the recap because
we will
you
be
know
talking
us.
about that, of
So we will
course.
be talking about that. But recently, he went on someone's podcast, and the host's sister
Hmm.
grabbed him inappropriately. Essentially, she committed sexual assault.
Hmm.
And while the masses are outraged, and rightfully so, there are some people who are like,
It's just a
but she a
girl
woman. Like it's
grabbing
a girl.
at
Like
you.
it's
It's
just like you.
whatever.
Like what you like? No,
No.
because if the shoe was on the other
Oh,
foot, then he would be canceled.
completely. Like, can you
Like,
imagine if it had have been him on there and the sister get up in front of him and he just grabs her boobs or something? It's over with.
or I mean, perfect example of that is the actor Jason Mitchell when he
Oh
was behaving
yeah.
inappropriately on The Shy. Then done. Bye bye. Changed
That
the
was it. Whole
whole
show was
show.
changed because he was a major part
Done.
of the show. Now, are we saying that that shouldn't have
It's
happened?
not okay.
Absolutely that.
But
Absolutely
it
not.
shouldn't be this thing to where when it happens to a man, well, you
Then it's
supposed to
the
man up,
whatever.
or it's like, oh, well, she did, like you should be happy. Why should he be happy? For one, it was unsolicited, and two, if my understanding is accurate, there were like kids around. Like she did
Yeah,
that in
that was
front of
very
like young.
gross.
That was very gross and inappropriate, and he didn't want it. And he's not gay because he didn't want some random female
Mhm.
grabbing on his like it's just not okay. And we do this thing to where when things like that happen to men, people don't care the same way they do when it happens to women. It's just like if a
Mhm.
man is dealing with domestic abuse,
Mhm.
then it's laughed at. It's like, so she beating your ass cuz I. And it's like, no, because you can't teach this man that to not hit a woman no matter what. So
And
then when he
then
does that, then you're like, this soft ass. I'm like, no, you can't. No, no.
yeah,
Keep that same energy because
yeah,
he was knocking her upside her head. Then everybody want to get in the car and ride through. No, keep that
exactly.
same energy. That's all I'm saying.
I've seen that too, the domestic abuse where the man is getting abused and it was, a cat who was super gentleman raised and not, raised to not hit women like you supposed to, like all the stuff, and just ran into the wrong one and then was all locked in with her with kids and the whole bit and just living in terror, like same, because he would want to be there for the kids, but he also didn't want to, get hit upside the head all the time. This nigga just kind of scratches and shit on his neck, and it was not no fun scratches either.
Yeah, and that's not okay. And just like I said with Michael Rainey Jr., that's not okay in any capacity. I know 50 Cent was trolling, but that he gonna troll, and not that that's
Yeah,
okay.
the petty
But
king, he's gonna
but
be
again, they're
petty.
out independent of him. There were people who were just kind of like, I mean, like, and it's like, no, no, nobody has a right to just do whatever. Like,
Mhm.
and then you should just shake it off. Like, no, you shouldn't.
Now, honestly, this is the thing a lot of people don't even realize. He was about to kind of let the shit kind of go. It was because it was captured and everybody saw it and started saying something. He was trying to let the shit go. But
Mhm.
if you if you keep asking about it and it's like, look, yes, this is what happened. I don't want to like go super hard at this little younger girl, whatever, but at the same time, that's trash. You can't do that
She ignorant.
because
Yeah, I don't care
right.
how young she is, she ignorant. Like,
Mhm.
no, that was hood radish behavior, and I don't care. Like, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable hood radish behavior. Point blank
Well,
period.
it well, I don't want to. Well, it seemed like she was very hood
No, it's
radish.
fine. Like, I'm a woman, so I'm, like if he, you a hood rat, sis. Like, no, you grabbing niggas' dicks on camera. Like, who raised you? Who raised you?
Yeah, that's
Stop it.
crazy. That's right.
Like,
Stop it. Get some help.
yeah,
Get some
like,
help.
who hurt you? Because that's like,
Yeah,
I wanted the
just
D and they told me no, and no one's gonna tell me no no more. Like, girl, relax. Like, you did way too much without doing enough.
oh my goodness. What else should we talk about in regards to this? Was there anything else that you wanted to talk
I
about?
had nothing because if I do, it's gonna veer into the realm of relationships, and I'm trying to stay away from that.
I mean, we could talk about if it's something that's relevant because we
I
about
mean,
to
we kind
wrap
of
it
talked
up
about the
soon.
domestic violence thing or whatever like
Mm-hmm.
that because I know there was rumors that when Nicki Minaj was with Safari that she was whooping his ass like he can
Oh,
and when those rumors were circulating, everybody laughed at it, and I just don't know why that's laughable. Like, I
no.
just don't know why that's something to laugh at. Like, there was a
Well,
report allegedly where she stabbed him and he covered it up for her, and people just was like, well, what did he do? Unless he put his hands on her first and she was defending herself, then it really don't matter for real. If
right,
he did something real raggedy, trifling, whatever like that, then that's when you get your ass up and walk away. You
right.
don't stab
Not
people.
stab, right. But she seemed like the type that would be abusing somebody, though. I bet because this the thing that's,
Look, here you go. Whatever they say she did that shit.
well, no, this is what I was gonna say, and I was just gonna leave it at that, and people could take it how they want to take it. It's interesting that him and then the guy that she's with now, like she don't even attempt barely to try to get somebody that's even in her true level. Like she just be like, "You could you come on." You got a case for maybe being a little molesty. Well, come on.
I'll Olivia Pope the situation, and we'll just keep that thing
And
pushing.
that's what she did. No, apparently, we'll see what happens. I think that's. I don't know if we're gonna hear any more about that. I don't know. We'll see.
It's been a while since we heard anything, so
That's true. That's
there's
true. Because
that.
she tried to talk to Nas for like 2 seconds before she
They was
was with
messing
that
around
dude.
for yeah, just
But I
I
think
mean,
he probably was like,
Nas a Virgo. You gotta go. You gotta
yeah,
keep away from them men. Virgo
yeah.
men ain't lit. Um,
Sorry to all my Virgo homies out there that may hear
I'm
this.
Virgo female. I said
I
it.
was
I don't
gonna
care.
say, I was
Fight me.
gonna.
Look, my.
oh goodness. So to and I guess just because I feel like as Black people we want to speak to it, this is um Juneteenth weekend. We're going into Juneteenth coming up, and you know, it's interesting that this country has started recognizing this holiday that really I feel like you in Texas. Texas was the ones that was holding that down for the
Yes.
longest. Dolo,
Yes.
not barely anybody really doing it outside of Texas. I mean, I think
Te-
it was,
Texas was
here
the
and there.
last state to know that the slaves were emancipated. So the last slaves were freed in was it 1860?
Five.
That's when the last ones were free?
Yeah, because then the Emancipation Proclamation was 1863, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so then you because I know it was a 2 year difference. So yes, it
Mhm,
wasn't until 1865
mhm.
that Texas was aware of it, Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Juneteenth. If anyone's wondering, just a random little Black history fact for your spirit. That's where that comes from. It comes from Texas, being the last state to emancipate slaves, and they did so on June 19th, 1865.
Mm-hmm. But it's dope that it's getting celebrated, but I just don't like how
It's being exploited.
it's been exploited. I know I definitely remember the first year that they really like was pushing it. It was after George Floyd and all the little
Hmm.
riots. So they was like, we don't get these black people something, they're gonna burn down America. We gotta do something. So I just know I just don't feel I like this getting recognized, and I'm a history guy, so anytime I could go back, and learn some stuff about a period, I'm always down for that. But it's just being exploited. Like I think the person who owns like the trademark to the word Juneteenth is white or something. It's just like
No shocker there.
so
I don't get the day
annoying.
off, so whatever.
Me
Um,
neither. Trust me. And then I'm nothing. I ain't even gonna get into
yeah,
that.
we're gonna leave that where it's at.
We're gonna leave it right there. But on that note, we're gonna wrap this on up. This has been another Culture Foolishness. I am Creed of Exit Studios, architectsmars.com, and my co-host Eon.
Coach Tamara Simone. Holler at your cousin.
Peace, peace. We will be back next week.